Shri Guru Vamsha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunatha Vitam Tam Shajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishvanu Suti Devi Paramami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhubhaya Vacha Patitana Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Prabhuji, we are reading from first canto, chapter 15, text 40, about the Pandavas retire timely. So how should we go about it, Prabhuji?
Well, we can go to the verse. Before we go to the verse, we can speak the two prayers for Bhagavatam. Then we go to the verse. Narayan Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Chayam Udirayeta Nashta Prayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevya Bhagavate Utam Shloke Bhakti Bhaktina Ashtaki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Text 40. I'll read the Sanskrit and translation. Visijya tatra tat sarvam dukula valayadikam nirmamo nirahankara sanchina sashesha bandhana. I think we can do word-to-word translation also. Very powerful words here. Visijya means relinquishing. Tatra means all those. Tat means that. Sarva means everything. Dukula, belt. Valaya adikam, and bangles. Nirmama, uninterested. Nirahankara, unattached. Sanchina, perfectly cut off. Asesha bandhana, unlimited attachment. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Maharaj Yudhishthira at once relinquished all his garments, belt and ornaments of the royal order and became completely disinterested and unattached to everything. Mother, you can read the purport.
Hare Krishna. To become purified of material contamination is the necessary qualification for becoming one of the associates of the Lord. No one can become an associate of the Lord or can go back to Godhead without such purification. Maharaj Yudhishthira, therefore, to become spiritually pure, at once gave up his royal opulence, relinquishing his royal dress and garments. The keshaya or saffron loincloth of the sannyasi indicates freedom from all attractive material garments, and thus he changed his dress accordingly. He became disinterested in his kingdom and family, and thus became free from all material contamination or material designation. People are generally attached to various kinds of designations. The designations of family, society, country, occupation, wealth, position, and many others. As long as one is attached to such designations, he is considered materially impure. And so-called leaders of men in the modern age are attached by national consciousness, but they do not know that such false consciousness is also another designation of the materially conditioned soul. One has to relinquish such designations before one can become eligible to go back to Godhead. Foolish people adore such men who die in national consciousness. But here is an example of Maharaj Yudhishthira, a royal king who prepared himself to leave this world without such national consciousness. And yet he is remembered even today because he was a great pious king, almost on the same level with the personality of Godhead, Sri Ram. And because And because people of the world were dominated by such pious kings, they were happy in all respects, and it was quite possible for such great emperors to rule the world. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So repeat the verse again. Maharaj Yudhishthira at once relinquished all his garments, belt, and ornaments of the royal order and became completely disinterested and unattached to everything. So we all know that the scene is that when the Pandavas heard that Krishna's left or he has folded his pastimes, even they gave up the kingdom. Maharaj Yudhishthira gave up the kingdom to his grandson, Parikshit. Parikshit became the new ruler. And he slowly gave up everything and became prepared to leave Hastinapur. As explained later, he went towards the north. Why was all this necessary? In the Vedic times, the kings, when they already get a successor on whom they are dependent upon, they will give up the kingdom and go to forests. We have many, many examples like Maharaj Bharat. He gave up his kingdom, very young age. And he went in the search of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, to perfect his devotional service. Then we heard about King Chitraketu. When he saw, when he heard the instruction of Narad Muni and Angira Muni about his strong attachment to his son, who had just passed away, when he realized the reality, he left the kingdom and went to the forest and attained perfection within a matter of days. And in this way, many, many, examples are there in the scriptures that at a particular time, one gives up one's responsibility, becomes disinterested in the worldly affairs and becomes more interested in deliverance of oneself, which means by taking shelter of Krishna. So Sri Prabhupada says that in order to become an associate of Krishna, one is to purify oneself of all the material contaminations. Now we all know contaminations are so many. The very first basic ones is lust, greed, anger, attachment, madness, and envy. Kama, Krodha, Moda, Lobha, Mada, Matsarya. But besides that, even if we clear this, there is pride, so much pride, which we carry in our hearts. We can read one section of the Gita where Sri Prabhupada explains so nicely. In the 15th chapter, if you go to the 15th chapter, I think it's verse number 5. Nirmana moha, jitta shanga dosha, adhyatma nitya, vinivritta kama, dvendvi vibhakta sukatushka saplai, gachantya mudha padam abhyayanta. See, this verse, Krishna tells Arjuna that surrender to Krishna. And the first qualification is one should not be deluded by pride. As far as the pride is there, then your language will also speak of pride. People who are proud, their language contains two common words, I and mine. Even in their normal dealings, it shows pride. But when one becomes a devotee, then it says Krishna and Krishna's. It bears no pride. Even after doing something great, he will give that pride away by offering the results to Krishna. Because one is bound to become proud when one is praised. So first contamination is the pride. And the second one is the weakness of mind. Now, we find that many devotees complain that I'm trying so hard, but I cannot, I'm not making any progress. It's not that they are wrong, they're right. But in one section, Sri Prabhupada says one has to give up the weakness of mind. This is in the last paragraph of the 15th chapter. I can read the line down. Here it says that most important thing one has to do is to surmount his weakness of heart, which is also contamination of the heart. The first fall down is caused by desire to load it over the service, to load over material nature. Thus give up one's transcendental loving service of the Lord. The second weakness of the heart is that one increases the propensity to load over material nature. He becomes attached to matter and possession of matter. The problems of material existence is due to these weaknesses of heart. So these two things one has to give up. Maharaj Yudhishthira, as it is, he had no pride, being a pure devotee of Krishna. There's no question of pride. There was a bit of weakness of mind when the Mahabharata war got over. But upon hearing the wise instructions of Bhishma Pitta, his mind became strong and he started ruling. So when all these impurities are given away, then one can go back to Vaikuntha. Srila Prabhupada explains in another lecture, if you want to enter fire, then you have to become like fire. You can't enter fire. Your body has to be fearing. In the similar way, if you want to go to Krishna, you have to be fully Krishnanized. Krishnanized means completely pure, because Krishna is the purest of pure. And if that purity is not there, you can't go to Krishna. One may become very proud. Oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I did this and I did that. It's just eulogizing oneself. It's not going to work. What really works is how much you have purified yourself. Because one can enter Vaikuntha only if one is pure. Furthermore, one has to understand one's relationship with Krishna. Just purity is not enough. Purity, and then along with that purity, one has to understand one's relationship with Krishna. Like as far as the Pandavas were concerned, they had a very friendly relationship, familial relationship, and a lot of relation of love. They used to love Krishna very much. And even Krishna used to love them so much. So that relationship, purity and relationship will help. Like, let's say in Krishna consciousness. If you are practicing Krishna consciousness, both these elements are a necessity. That you have to be pure at the heart. At the same time, you do not give up your relationship. It's like you're obliged to Krishna with such a feeling. Not just obliged because I'm tied to Krishna. Because of Krishna, I've got this, and how Krishna has maintained me, how Krishna has protected. One should have that gratitude. When that gratitude comes, then one can go back home, back to God. Because this will lead to constant remembrance of Krishna. One will not forget Krishna, even for a moment in his life. Now, Yudhishthira Maharaj gave up his royal clothing, royal attire, and accepted renunciation, dress of a renunciate. Just like, ISKCON we find brahmacharis, they wear saffron. And even sannyasis, they wear saffron, which means they are above the material world. They're given up material designations. And they've taken up the dress of a sannyasi. Srila Prabhupada said, if one wants to be a sannyasi, one must give up fear completely. And completely learn to depend on Krishna, which is not easy. Even to go out one night on a barefoot is difficult. Go to take of taking sannyas. It's not easy. You may, out of a dream, or maybe someone may say, okay, give up everything and take up sannyas. It's not going to work. Again, you'll come back to your home. I've several times given an example of of a man who will quarrel with his wife. And then he tells his wife at night, I'm going to take sannyas. And he leaves the home and go away. And next morning, he again knocks the door and comes back. And he tells the wife, I want breakfast. Such sannyas does not work. Sannyas means not looking behind. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is an excellent sannyasi. At the age of 24, he took up sannyas and he left home, never to look back. He had a beautiful wife, a very beautiful wife, and a young wife, and a very loving mother, and an elderly mother, not very young. So there was no one to look after them. But in those days, the Vedic culture was so good that everyone would be taken care of. But he didn't come home. Before even leaving, he's asking his mother, after shaving his head, that you can decide. If you want me to stay with you, I can stay with you. If you want me to carry on sannyasi so that I can preach the holy name, you decide. And the mother could understand the higher purpose of sannyas, and she allowed, with only one request, that for 5 days you take food which has been prepared by me. And that even he took food at Advaita Acharya's house, but it was cooked by the mother of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sachimata. So if you hear those, even your heart can break. But in reality, sannyas is not easy. So Maharaj Yudhishthira is wearing the clothes of a sannyasi, not like orange dress and everything. Very simple, tattered clothes. Nobody will even recognize you. Such kind of clothes. And he left. Because in those days, Varna and ashram was very well observed. Nobody will jump their ashram. If someone is a brahmachari, he will remain a brahmachari. If someone is a grihastha, he'll follow all the rules and regulations of grihastha. Then if someone is a vanaprastha, he obeys the rules and regulations of vanaprastha. And if someone is a sannyasi, he will behave as a sannyasi. So this way, because Varnashram was strong, it became like naturally to give up everything and to even become exemplary to the rest of the leaders of the world. At the right time, you should give up everything, keep your successor ready, give everything, and then go back. I mean, try to go back home, back to Godhead, by preparing yourself to go back. We already done the chapter, Dhritarashtra Quitus, home. And we had heard how Vidura is teaching Dhritarashtra that give up this attachment of this royal opulence. Give up this royal clothes, food, everything. Go to the forest. I will take you to the forest. This is how he prepares Dhritarashtra. Had Vidura not come back to take him, it would have not been possible for Dhritarashtra to even go to heavens. Not possible. He was destined to go to hell. Of all the offenses he had committed towards Pandavas, all the sins he had committed, out of a strong attachment for his own son. So, Prabhupada explained that he became disinterested in kingly affairs because he gave up the kingdom and his family also. To give family responsibilities is very, very difficult. Prahlad Maharaj explains in the 7th canto. Who can give up a wife, especially if she's a very good wife, who speaks nice language, gives you nice food and takes care of you? Who can give up? Who can give up nice children if they are obedient and very, very loving children? Nobody can give it up. But still, if one has to take sannyas, one has to give up all this. And give up, like you go to the toilet, you flush, you don't look behind, you come out. You just forget about it. In a similar way, giving up everything, it is not easy. But yet Maharaj Yudhishthira, he gave up everything. So one has to rise above bodily designations, as Nagmari says, Sarva Upadi Vinirmukta Tatparatvena Nirmalam Rishikesha Rishikena Sevanam Bhakti Uchite. Sarva Upadi means give up all the designations which you have, Whilst we are in the world, we have designations. Like, I belong to this family, this is my country, this is my society, this is my occupation, this is my wealth, this is my position. All these are upadhi. Upadhi means it's like attention. Responsibility is attention. That, oh, because I belong to this country, so I should serve the country. Oh, because I have this body, I have an Indian body, African body, European body, so I must do something for them. Oh, I belong to this family, I must do something for the family. But all those designations is nothing but impurity which will cover his soul. So all those impurities can be given away or should be given away. In the Shastaka, there's a verse, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitava jagadish khame, mama janmani janmanishware bhavta bhakti ahit kitve. In that verse, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that I don't want wealth, I don't want to take birth in an aristocratic family, I don't want a beautiful wife, or nor do I want any number of followers. 4 things Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I want to keep it up. Na dharam, na janam, na sudhika without. All I want to ask from Krishna, or he's praying to Krishna, that birth after birth, give me your unalloyed devotional service. If that is the mood of your mind, if you can capture that mood and stay in that mood, it's very, very useful. It will help you progress in Krishna consciousness at a very fast speed. And you can conquer these impurities and come to the pure state of mind. Prabhupada explains that presently our senses, our mind, our intelligence, especially our senses, are not pure. These senses, when they use in the service of Krishna, they become purified. And as they become purified, then that is called bhakti yoga. Often we claim we are devotees, but are our senses pure? If not pure, one should not say I'm a devotee. You're still a learner, but not a devotee. Of course, if you practice, even the learner becomes a devotee. So Krishna consciousness is so good that as you practice, it will become better, 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 better. And then you come to a state where you go even the better than the bestest, right on the top. But not without practice. You have to practice. We had a very good discussion at somebody's house yesterday. And the man admitted that many years ago, I had to force myself to chant Hare Krishna. Now I don't have to. It comes naturally. In the beginning, you have to force your mind, sit down, hold your japa beads, and chant clearly. Yes, for some time you have to force. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj says, at least for 2 years you have to force in the beginning. Then for the rest of the life, it will become your second habit. You'll be able to chant very nicely. And as far as the love or the taste for chanting Hare Krishna will automatically appear. It's not by your effort. Of course, you have to do the effort, but it's the mercy of Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a beautiful verse where it says that the Vaishnavas, or devotee of Vishnu, they glorify Kali Yuga. Why? Because Kali Yuga is so good that you can attain the love of God simply by taking part in the Sankirtan, simply by chanting Hare Krishna, by hearing about Krishna, by remembering. This is called Sankirtan. Complete glorification of Krishna, which was not available in the previous yugas, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga. In the other previous or the bygone ages, you have to work very hard for it. But in Kali Yuga, you can get the same result or even a better result simply by chanting Hare Krishna. And those, I think most of you hearing today on the in this class are devotees and you're chanting Hare Krishna. So please keep up chanting, whether you like or you don't like. You finish the number of rounds which you've taken a vow, don't give up that vow. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, if you take up a vow of chanting Hare Krishna, it's better than any Vedic performances like yagya, dana, tapa, name it. Nothing can come even closer to the vow of chanting Hare Krishna. So those who take up a vow of chanting Hare Krishna, does not matter how many rounds. Of course, minimum four rounds is a good number. If you can do 4 and then 8 and 12 and 16, that vow itself will attract Krishna because it will purify you. Because it will be within your mind. It's like you feel that, no, I have to chant. It will make you chant. So that vow is so pure. And that's explained by Bhakti Vinod Thakur, quoting Adi Purana, that there is no vow like chanting Hare Krishna. So in this way, if you take a vow that I want to remain pure, then take up the advice of Sri Chaitanya that always chant Hare Krishna. And the so-called nationalism, socialism, all this is nothing but different designations which can bring you down. Just like if you are flying a kite, then you need to, if the kite is going up and up, you have to release the string so that it can go up and up. But if you keep pulling it down and down, then the kite will come down. So you have to stay up and high in Krishna consciousness. Then you have to let go. So many things, so that your kite of Krishna consciousness will fly in the sky very high. In a similar way, without our effort of practicing, especially 3 things: hearing, chanting, remembering, one cannot practice in Krishna consciousness. And Yudhishthira Maharaj was already above that so-called national consciousness. In the Sanskrit, it's called Desha Bhakti. Desha Bhakti means loving the country and working for the country, or for advancement of your country. Desh Prem, they call it, or the love for one's country, which is natural. But Yudhishthira Maharaj even gave up that one to leave this world and attain the lotus feet of Krishna. Now, Maharaj Yudhishthira was no ordinary king. She probably explains that his kingdom was as good as on par with Rama Rajya. Rama Rajya is Krishna himself. Imagine your king is Ram. Every citizen is happy. Each person is happy. Even each dog is happy in that kingdom. Each tree is happy. Each cow is happy. Everyone is happy. So in Maharaj Yudhishthira, everything was going on so perfectly. It would rain in time. Cows would give abundant milk. That the ground would be moistened. There was no shortage of food. There's no shortage of any kind of supplies. The mountains gave so many things. The earth gave so many things. The rivers gave enough water. Everyone was happy. And in such kingdom, each citizen enjoyed the kingdom. Praja means the citizen. Does not just mean a human, for humans only. It means every living entity, which means starting from fishes, birds, trees, plants, animals, and also humans. Everyone lived very, very happily. And that is called Rama Rajya. Very, very excellent. Even today, if you go to India, many people still remember Rama. They say, wish our king was like Ram, or was Ram. And to be born at the time of King Rama's kingship, or during his reign, it is not easy. It also needs piety. So it is said that people of Ayodhya were no ordinary people. They enjoyed the rule of Ramachandra, and they also went back with Ramachandra back home, back to Godhead. How many kings do we have like that today? Hardly any. But people, at least if you have those values of how the Lord ruled and what the citizens were like. It's not that Ramachandra is ruling, his citizens were carefree, no. or lazy or something. No. They all practice their spiritual life to the best of their ability. How the Brahmins worked as Brahmins, they performed the duties of a Brahmin. Kshatriyas did their duties as Kshatriya. Vaishya did like that. Sudras, men, women, children, everyone. Everyone enjoyed the kingdom of Rama. And if you read the Valmiki Ramayana, you'll find how he ruled and how each subject of the kingdom actually loved Lord Ramachandra. Everyone loved Rama. Even just to see Lord Ramachandra, they used to wait to see Ramachandra. I don't know if I give you the story of a Brahmin. If I have already given, you can hear it again. In the kingdom of Ramachandra, there was a Brahmin who will not eat if he has not seen Ramachandra. That was his vow. So every day he would come to see Rama. After taking darshan of Rama, he would go home and then eat. Now one day Lord Ramachandra went out of the kingdom for 12 days. And for 12 days he fasted. And when Lakshman came to know this, he told this to Lord Ramachandra. And Ramachandra said, why should he suffer like this? So he at once told Lakshman to build a murti. Murti means a statue of Rama, and then give it to him. And when Brahman was summoned to the court, he was given this murti, that when I'm not there, you take a look at this murti and feel my presence in this. So in this way, Brahmin was very satisfied. Sometimes people even ask people who are of other religious denominations, why do we worship Murti in the temple? So in the Bhagavatam, it is explained, why is the Murti kept in the temple? So as to keep up peace and purity among the monks who live in the temple, first of all, number one. Because when the deity is in the temple, nobody will misbehave. Nobody will misbehave in the temple. And everyone respect the deity. That is a general etiquette. Otherwise, there was no necessity of having murti, because God is everywhere. But in Treta Yuga, because Satya Yuga, it was not a necessity. Treta Yuga, when religion went down 25%, and the contamination came, even the contamination came among the Brahmin class, then this deity worship was introduced with its rules and regulations. So that is, and Treta Yuga means the kingdom of the time of Lord Ramachandra. And under such kingdom, we can all live very happily. Even now, if you are attached to Lord Ramachandra or Krishna, you can live a very happy life. Always think of Krishna, become his devotee, bow down to him, and surrender to him, take refuge in him. These four golden rules and regulations is the whole subject matter of Bhagavad Gita. And if you can follow these four, then what will happen? People will be happy. Whoever practices will be happy. Now take the other side of it. How many people think of Krishna? If you don't think of Krishna, the other only alternative is to think of Maya in many, many ways. Maya takes shapes, forms in different ways. You'll be attracted to so many things, but you'll not be attracted to Krishna. So these are the different, what do you call it is all the mischief done by Maya, and we will be attracted to that mischief and will be brought down. We find people attracted, especially those who don't associate with the devotees. As Lord Rishabdev says that, Yoshitu Sangi Sangam, Mahat Seva Dwaram Ahu Vivukto. If you associate with devotees, your life is different. If you start associating with worldly people, especially fallen people, you'll be attracted to two things, wealth and women, and alcohol. and you ruin your life. This is how people become victimized to them, become degraded and fall down. So there's only two options. Either you go for the road that leads to brightness, or you take the road which will take you to darkness. You'll find that majority of the world today is going towards darkness, not towards Krishna. Very few people take up the path of brightness. The other path does look very attractive. You will be attracted. Like in the Bhagavatam, in the 11th canto, it is explained, a foolish man gets attracted towards the shape of a woman, the saint of the woman, the fragrance of the woman, the body of the woman, the lips of the woman, the walk of the woman. And in this way, he becomes cheated. So if you are, this is just one example given. So two words boiled down, Kanchan, Kamini. Kanchan means gold. Kamini means beautiful women. So people, if they waste time behind these two, there's no question, Krishna. And these two are the highest peaks of Maya. Maya will take you to those two things. And besides that, people who are in illusion become attracted to so many things. People are attracted to motor cars, people are attracted to wealth, people are attracted to big name, fame, even their own body. In today's crazy world, everyone wants to look like a celebrity. Once they see a movie, they want to look like them. The whole social media is just teaching you this. Prabhupada says the pornographic, the huge pornographic industry is contaminating men and women. Both of them get cheated by getting products of this pornographic industry. But in the Ram Rajya or in the time of Maharaj Yudhishthira, these things were not there. These things were not existing even. Even in the entire Vedic times, these things were not allowed. That you waste your time behind these frivolous activities or illusion and be cheated. No. People knew that life, at least even if they were doing nonsense, at a certain age they'll stop and they'll take up some practice like dhyana, yoga, and the luckier ones, the fortunate ones will take up the part of Krishna consciousness. So this is the subject matter of this purport today. How Yudhishthira relinquishes, means he gives up, prepares himself to walk towards the north, means towards Himalayas, and to quit his body. So we can learn a lot. It's not that we all have to go to Himalaya for that, but at least if we can have that feeling that I'm too attached to this thing, that let me give it up once and for all. Now let me give all these things or use all these things in the service of Krishna. That is called wisdom. And we ought to have this wisdom to practice Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, if anyone has any comments or additions or questions, please do ask.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, now I'm seeing here that we need purification before going back to Godhead.
Yes.
Like, we are still like, okay, like talking for myself, it's like still a long way. So would there be like a shortcut, like to remember Krishna at the end of life, or?
Yes, you should read that verse from the 8th chapter. I think it's verse number 5. That before giving the body, if you think of Krishna, you will go to Krishna. And if you read that purport very carefully, let me open it and read it for you. And if you go to the 8th chapter, if you have the book, you can open the book yourself also.
Yes.
Sri Prabhupada gives your answer. Antakalecha mameva smarat muktva kalevara. Yas prayati samad bhakam yati dashti atra samshaya. 8.5. And whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone. See, it's very clear, me alone. You see those words? Not anyone else. Me alone. Attains my nature. Of this, there is no doubt. If you read the first line, the very first line says that the importance of Krishna consciousness is stressed. It's stressed here that you should remember Krishna so that you can remember Krishna at the time of death. The whole program of Krishna consciousness is dependent on this philosophy. Very much dependent on our practice. All our practice, like waking up early, chanting Hare Krishna, watering the tulsi, making flowers, garlands for Krishna, eating Krishna Prasad, hearing Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, all comes down in one line. Is how much we can increase our remembrance of Krishna, so that when the death comes, which is written in the second line, anyone who quits his body in Krishna causes is at once transferred to the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord. Now, you may be right or you are right that yes, we are impure, but Krishna will help you. As you go into the purport, Sri Prabhupada mentions Mahamantra twice, the Hare Krishna mantra, if you notice. And the first time he says, one should constantly, incessantly chant the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. And then he quotes the verse of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Taro Reva Saisnada, Amanina Banadera, Kirtaniya Sadhari. One should be very tolerant, like a blade of grass. Humbler than a blade of grass, tolerant than a tree, ready to give respects to all without demanding respect from anyone. One can chant unceasingly. If you want to chant continuously, this is the formula. Humility, tolerance, ready to respect others. 3 things. You can always chant 24 hours a day. Not impossible, possible. And then again he quotes the Mahamantra. If we can tolerate all this and continue chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. At the end of one's life, one can have the full benefit of Krishna consciousness. Now here Sri Prabhupada is giving a guarantee. So we have to have faith in the word of Sri Prabhupada. Prabhupada is saying twice, not once, but twice. It also means that to chant Hare Krishna is not easy. Otherwise, why is Prabhupada stressing tolerance? It means it's not easy. It's very difficult to chant Hare Krishna in the present age, because the mind is so disturbed and the mind is full of desires going here and there. But yet you have to tolerate all this and chant Hare Krishna. Does it answer your question, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, thank you.
That is the way of perfection. Simply by chanting Hare Krishna, you'll go back home.
So like that would be like quality chanting.
Don't worry about quality. You chant Hare Krishna, that's it. Don't worry about quality. People make it very complicated. Oh, you should have a quality chanting. When you're chanting Hare Krishna, only think of Krishna. Think you are in Vrindavan. All these things will follow. Your duty is to chant Hare Krishna. Prabhupada gives the example for bank cashier. You are a banker, yeah, Mataji?
Right, yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
You must have noticed a teller at your bank. When money is deposited, he counts. And when he gives out, he again counts. So that is the work of a teller we have to do. We simply have to count. That's it. We have to count that each name, each syllable is being counted by my tongue when I'm chanting the Maha Mantra, which has got 16 syllables. Are they touching the tip of your tongue? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Then you go to the next speed, third one, like that. If you're doing that, you're doing fine. That's it. Don't worry too much about quality. Quality will eventually come. It may take, for some it takes few years, some may take more years, Some may take even maybe many births. If you ask me frankly, it also took me about 30 years to chant very nicely. It took me time. Formerly, I would chant because I'd taken initiation. So out of obligation, I used to chant. Later on, I would chant with a lot of philosophy in the mind. But now I can chant just when whether I have beads in the hand or not having hands, I can still chant. And the name has so much power that even if there's anxiety and problems and tiredness, it removes and you become relaxed. And you enjoy your chanting. And you remember Krishna. Rupa Goswami says, if you chant nicely, you'll see the form of Krishna. When you see the form of Krishna, you love his activities, you love his qualities, and you feel like hearing more about Krishna. This is the effect of chanting. Okay, any other questions?
If there's any other question, okay, Prabhuji, I have one more. You talked about eligibility to enter Vaikuntha. One, you said when one is pure, and then another one is about understanding relationship with Krishna. So like, how do we get to understand that our relationship with Krishna? Because like for the Pandavas, it was like a friendship, more of friendship. So
okay, the Pandavas were friendship and relatives. They're related to Krishna.
Relatives, yeah, friends and relatives.
What's his relatives? They were born at the time of Krishna. And at the same time, they had natural love for Krishna. And they were bound with Krishna. They were like so much tied up. And as far as we are concerned, then remember the famous verse, Jivira Sarupai Krishna Nitya Das. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that, remember that we are all the servitors of Krishna. Explained very, very nicely. You can write, you have a Chaitanya Charitamrita at your house?
No,
Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Yeah,
If you have it on your phone, you go to Madhya Leela, chapter 20, verse number 108, 108, 20, 108. It says, Jivana Sarubhaya, Krishna Nitya Das, Krishna Tatashta Shakti Bheda Bheda Prakash. Both the lines, try to remember them and learn the meaning. The meaning is, the living at his natural condition is that to be a servant of Krishna. The Jiva is a marginal potency of Krishna and a manifestation which is both one and different from Krishna. So we are actually already one with Krishna, yet different from Krishna. It means we already have a relationship. It's not that we don't have a relationship. So at least basic relationship is that we are the servitor, as per this verse. So we just serve Krishna. That's it. That is our relationship, which is enough to take you back to Godhead. Then from that servitorship, your actual relationship will be exposed by Krishna himself. Or in future, if you get initiated, if you're lucky enough, your spiritual master can even reveal your relationship with Krishna.
So that can be revealed, Prabhuji?
Yes, yes. That is professional. It means we were servitors, we have forgotten, but again, when you join the service of the due a higher authority, like Krishna himself or the Guru Maharaj will reveal to you, yes. Anyway, this is a very deep subject matter. For the time being, just practice your service to Krishna. Okay, we have a hand up of Panchali Kara here.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. Prabhuji, so my question is around chanting and then reaching the higher planets, but there's also the jivas who attain or accrue a lot of sukriti, and then they go to the heavenly planets. So from the heavenly planets, if they instead of being overcome by the various good things, or things that are the opulences over there, rather than falling for them, if they remain a devotee, is there a chance for them to then go back to Godhead, or is it always that jivas in the heavenly planets, is there more chance of them falling down to lower planets?
No, no. First of all, remember that if you are chanting Hare Krishna, and if
Yeah.
you're chanting Hare Krishna properly, there's no question of going to heavens. You're going to. So forget that notion that first you'll go to heavens and then go to Krishna. No. When you are chanting Hare Krishna, it means you are attracted to Krishna and you're not going to love anyone but Krishna. Then there's no question of fall down or anything. You're going to go to Krishna and Krishna will help you not fall down. He can't allow his devotee to fall down. He guarantees this. The verse number 9, chapter 9, verse number 31, 32, very clearly. That if you fall down from the fire, he'll pick you up.
Thank you, Prabhuji. It was only what Mataji said because, and I can only speak for myself, my mind wanders so much and it's not pure chanting at all. So I just fear that, you know, I'm actually doing a disservice and I'm actually doing offenses by chanting like this. And I'm making Krishna angry by not properly concentrating whilst chanting.
No, no, there's nowhere written like that. Yeah, yes, it's our duty to so that we chant nicely. It's not that we have to become like fully concentrated. All these things will follow. Our first duty is to make a habit of chanting. I already explained in the class, the vow itself is more important. You keep your vow. Let's say you take a vow in front of Krishna, in front of devotees. I'm going to chant 4 rounds. So you must chant your 4 rounds. That is called the vow. That vow is so powerful that it will completely purify you. Then as far as chanting is concerned, once that vow has been taken, you put it like a second habit in your life. And if you practice it, that practice itself will lift you up and make you focus on chanting Hare Krishna.
Okay,
is it okay?
Yes,
Yeah.
Prabhuji, I'll try my best. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, and one more thing I can add is sometimes devotees think, well, those who are serious, they are going to chant at 16 rounds, rather 16 plus 1, at least 17 rounds. So 17 rounds will qualify, or 16 rounds qualifies you to go back home. So don't worry about anything else. We all agree, even if you ask me, oh, are your rounds good daily? I can give you answer. I'm not speaking lies. Not all the rounds are good daily. Sometimes they are very good. Sometimes they are not very good. Sometimes they are normal. Sometimes I'm struggling. Or sometimes the body is so tired that you are chanting, but you feel a little sleepy. But still it is acceptable because you finish your rounds, you've done your duty. That's it. We are not on the vow of the Goswamis that the moment you touch the beads, you are in Vaikuntha. We are not on that level. But we have to try to come to that level. I'm not saying don't concentrate. It will come. First ask yourself, are you finishing your rounds? Then after finishing your rounds, are you reading? Are you hearing? So that your chanting becomes better and better. Because this supplements your chanting and associating with devotees. And doing some seva for Krishna. At least some seva for Krishna. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay, if there are no questions, we can end up here.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Parth Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept our humble obeisances. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for your nice class. Very nicely explained about Maharaj Yudhishthira's renunciation and also same time Maharaj Lord Ramchandra. And also very nice question. They are our ideals. So we can try for that at the end of the life. At least we can attend that. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So I request everyone, please unmute yourself and chant Hare Krishna mantra for glorification of His grace. Rukma Prabhuji, please join. Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Namaha.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
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 Jai
Hare
Rukma
Krishna.
Prabhu ki
Hare
jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji and Matji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.